everybody, happy Monday. It is great to be here with you as always. My name is Catherine. I am the founder of Female Founders in Retail and also Future Retail Consulting. And today I'm going to be talking to you about driving traffic to your website. So this is the second part. Well, it's almost kind of the third part, because the first thing I did was I talked to you about what you needed to do to get ready to drive traffic to your website, which was all about checking that your website was working, that it was converting correctly, that you weren't just putting traffic into effectively a leaky bucket, so that you'd actually gone through and checked that your website was converting before you started driving traffic to it. Then the second thing, the last week's session, we talked some more about, hello there, we talked some more about how you start driving traffic, and we talked about the fundamentals. And the fundamentals, if you recall, if you watched last week, if not, go back, the video is still in the group. It'd be great to have you check it out. We talked about SEO, your search engine optimization, and why that was so important. We talked about your email marketing and how creating a list is so important, as that is the highest converting traffic that you can be driving to your website. And thirdly, we talked about your content marketing strategy, which is where you use blogs or behind the scenes footage or videos, photos, diaries, kind of snippets, that infographics can work. Anything like that that is going to be really useful to your customer and drive people to your website. So those are the three fundamentals: the SEO, the email marketing, and the content marketing. So today's session, we are going to be talking about the next group of activities, which are what you might call the brand awareness raising. I'll tell you more about those in a minute. I just want to do a quick shout out for my webinar that I have coming up tonight. It's a full hour or hour plus if there are questions. It's going to be all about how you can fast forward to profit in your product-based business. And it's going to go over the 3 biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make and a 4-step process that will let you grow, give you a blueprint so that you can grow sanely and sustainably and profitably. And I'm really excited about this. It's the first time I've done a webinar in this format. So I'm really, really excited to share it with you all. It's not happening in the group, it's happening outside of the group. You do need to sign up to register to come. And yeah, I would love to see lots of you there tonight. Okay, back to today's message. Bear with me one second while I pull this up. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about now is, as I said, the activities that you take that are going to grow your brand awareness. So this is all, if you think about the sort of know, like, and trust factor, this is the getting to know you part. And it is these activities, some of them are a little bit trickier to measure their effectiveness, but at the same time, combined, they can have a major impact. And what you really need to do is, after you checked your website, got that working, check through your fundamentals, what you really want to do is select 1, maybe 2 of these methods and really work on them. But I would very much stress that you need to be very picky about not trying to do everything. It's a very easy mistake to make as an entrepreneur. You start working on a PR strategy and then someone says to you, you know what, you really should try Pinterest because it's going to be great. Or you start on Instagram and then somebody says, really, I think you should be using Twitter as well because I've used it, it's been really effective for my business. So very quickly you get pulled in lots of different directions. And it's really, really hard to get good at one thing when you're being pulled in lots of different directions. So for example, and I use this in the big blog post that I've done on driving traffic. For example, you would never decide that you're going to play the piano, the violin, and the clarinet at the same time. You'd pick one and you would work on it and you would just keep going with it until you got really good. And then once you've got really good at it, maybe even a few years later, you would add on additional pieces. And that's kind of how you want to think about growing your business and picking up methods to drive traffic to your website. Once the fundamentals are covered off, once you've done all your checking, then what you want to do is, as I said, select a certain number. Okay, so what are the various different options that we are talking about? So First off, social media marketing. Now, this is the one that probably everybody thinks of as first comes to mind when they think about driving traffic to their website. And it is true that a strong social media strategy is a great way to grow your business's profile, and all know that it's such a key part, and it's probably where a lot of us spend a lot of our time. But just a small word of warning, social media marketing is actually the lowest converting traffic that you can drive. So it generally converts at under 1 percentage point, whereas the average that you want to try and get to is preferably 2, but at least in that 1 to 2%. So compare that to email marketing, where people convert at around 4%. That means for every 100 people you send from email marketing, 4 of them will buy from you, and for every 100 people that you send from social media marketing, 1 of them will buy from you. And why is that? Well, if you think about your own life, when you're on social media, you are probably browsing, you're probably having some downtime, you're probably standing in the queue at the bus stop, or waiting for your dinner to cook, or waiting to pick your kids up from school, or 101 things that you're doing. But you're kind of checking your Instagram or you're checking your Facebook. And let's say that you see something there. You may think, oh, that looks really interesting, and you may go take a look at the website, but you're kind of in browsing mode. So last week as well, I talked about the idea of highly converting traffic and low converting traffic, and the analogy that I used was that high converting traffic is like you on a mission on a Friday afternoon. You've got a party on a Saturday, you're going to go to the shopping centre, and you know you're leaving with something, because there's no way you're going to that party empty-handed. So you're in the mood to buy, you have a clear purpose, and you're there to spend. So that is what high converting traffic is. It's people coming to your website ready to buy. And social media is it's the low converting. It's you just walked out of the cinema in the middle of the shopping centre, it's early October, all of the Christmas stuff is out in the shops. You're not really ready to buy your Christmas party dress, but you'll go and take a little look and have a look around. That's low converting traffic, and that's what social media sends you. Now, as I said, I'm not suggesting for a minute it's not a really important part of your business, but just bear that in mind if you've been spending forever on social media marketing before you've fixed all your fundamentals, your SEO, email marketing, and your content marketing strategies. So what are the top tips though? As we said, we know that social media is very, very important. I'm not here to tell you today that you don't need to use it, but here are a few things to bear in mind. The same with what I said earlier, pick one platform. Pick one platform and get really, really good at it. Pick the one where your customers are. You know, huge numbers of people use Instagram. It may well be that is where your customer, and you know, if you're going to do Instagram, get really good at Instagram. Take the courses, learn from the best, follow the accounts where you can see that they've got lots of engagement, and really study it. Whether that's you pick Facebook, whether you pick Pinterest, whether you pick Google Plus, I don't know, or Snapchat, whatever it is that you pick, make sure you get really good at it and keep going and keep trying. Experiment with what works, and work out what doesn't work. So whichever platform you choose, you need to engage with your customer. That's the second point about social media marketing. It is no longer what you might call a broadcast strategy. You can't just put a message on social media and expect that you'll get a clear, you get a huge surge of people doing what you've asked them to do. You need to put your message out there, but then you also need to be really interacting. You need to make part of your social media strategy time that you spend every day liking other people's posts, talking to them, talking to your ideal customer, asking them questions, and really understanding them as much as you can using social media. Now, find out where the conversations are happening in your niche. If you are a baby wear brand, find out where all of the baby Instagrammers hang out, or which Facebook group they're all in. Go and find where the conversation's happening, and then you can talk to them. Now, this is not about being spammy. This is not about every opportunity saying, hi, well, I can offer you this or that or the other, but it's just about getting involved, and people will notice you. If you're there adding value, being helpful, people will notice you. Now, this is a time-consuming strategy, and it is part of the long game, but that is really how you start getting traction in social media. So if you have a social media account and you're not really getting much engagement out of it, ask yourself how much engagement you're putting in yourself. And above all, if people do comment on your posts, do respond to them. I know that sounds really obvious, but I do see that where people, maybe they've spread themselves too thin, so they're on social media, but they're not really getting a lot of response. Then you want to make sure that it just doesn't look great if you've got comments and you've not responded to them. Third tip for social media, make sure that your bio is optimized. Whichever platform you're on, make sure that there's a clear link, as clear as you can make it, to your website. A bio without a website link in it is a wasted opportunity to get people to drive traffic, because what often happens is people are curious, they want to look you up, they have a little nose around your posts, and then they might want to go look at your website, but if they can't find it really quickly and easily, then they won't visit. Tip number 4 for social media, promote the content that you've created as part of your content strategy. Sounds simple, right? But that should be the kind of relationship between your content marketing strategy and your social media marketing strategy. You should be creating really great, useful content, and then you should be sharing it with your ideal customer via social media. And that's going to drive traffic to your website. If you put up a great blog post and you say, hey everyone, I've just written this great blog post, it gives people a reason to visit you, it gives people a reason to engage with you and a reason to visit your, interact with your website. Next tip for social media is use your analytics. Now, I talk to many people who say, you know, I'm just not a numbers person. Well, you know, just bite the bullet, take the time, learn the analytics. Even if it's just once a week for 5 minutes, take a look at, and you don't have to get deep into the stats, but just understand what works and what doesn't work. Take a look at your most liked posts or your most commented on posts in the last couple of weeks, and that's how you refine and improve on your social media strategy. There is no one size fits all. You're going to have more success with certain types of posts, so you keep going with the ones that work and you drop the ones that don't and you try something new. But if you're not going back and checking what's actually working and checking your analytics and seeing which direction you're moving in, then you're going to find it harder to get further on social media. And my final tip for social media is making sure there's a really clear call to action. So what do you want people to do when they see your post? So if you put up a great photo of your new collection, make sure there's a shop now button. Make sure that it says clearly, visit my website to see the new range. Don't just leave it up there as a picture and leave people to kind of guess what you want to do, what you want them to do with it. Okay, so then we talked about social media. Another way to raise your brand awareness is my personal favorite, which is partnerships. And this is very simply finding complementary partners. So what is a complementary partner other than someone who says nice things about you? Well, a complementary partner is somebody who has the same audience, but it's slightly different. So perfect example being you make baby grows and they make teething rattles. Okay, so let's say yours are made from organic cotton. They're produced by a social enterprise in India. And the person who makes the teething rattles is also a social enterprise. There's a great story, there's a great synergy, and there's a great fit. So put them together and you can do cross promotions, you can do giveaways, and this is a fantastic way to get access to somebody else's audience. Because the chances are if they love your products, they'll love their products and vice versa. So just go out there, find other people, preferably of a similar size. If somebody's of a similar size to you, so let's say you've got 100 followers and they've got 100 followers, just say, yeah, can we do a cross promote? Can I have you do a guest blog on my website? Can I do a guest blog on your website? So how do you leverage their audience to grow your own and vice versa? And this is such a great, not only a really fantastic way to grow your business, but it's also a fantastic way to find a support network of people who you can work with on an ongoing basis. And it's a really positive way of building your business. So I definitely suggest that if you've not tried it, think about who you could partner up with in order to share your business and where you could find them. If you don't know anyone right now, how could you find them? Okay, part 3. So we talked about social media, we talked about partnerships, now we're going to talk about PR. So public relations, PR relates to getting your products, your business into magazines, newspapers, or onto big sites like blog site, bigger sort of lifestyle sites like Huffington Post, that kind of thing. So a good PR strategy can be very effective. It is something that takes a lot of work. You can teach yourself to do your own PR. You definitely will need a good press release. You can either learn to write them yourself, although they are a real art form. You can pay freelancers to write them for you. You can also work with a PR agency. If you feel that the thing that is really going to make the difference for your business is going to be PR, then fine. My suggestion would be to either devote most of your time to it to make sure that you're really focusing on it and learning it as best you can. Also, if you can talk to an agency. So it is a great way to get exposure, to get your brand out there, but you don't always see, it's quite a hard one to see, right, how exactly did that tie back? So you definitely just want to be a little bit careful about, especially spending too much money up front before you know that all of the other elements of your business are exactly where they need to be. And the other thing just to note as well with PR is that it works really, really well if you've got a clear USP and a great brand story behind your business. So for example, Nubian Skin is a fantastic brand. They sell lingerie for women of colour. They have nude lingerie in an array of skin tones, and they've had a huge amount of PR coverage because it was a really groundbreaking idea and really well executed. And that's the kind of thing that works really particularly well for PR. So think about your brand story, think about your USP, and just think about what makes it newsworthy. Okay, so physical retail. Physical retail is a great way to drive people to your online store. Just to put it out there, if you've got a physical store, definitely make sure that your website is clearly visible with the store signage on your receipt, in any of your email communications going out, that you're really flagging your website. If you're doing a pop-up event, it's great to go back and make sure that you can hand out some kind of flyer. You can also think about giving bounce back offers. So bounce back is basically, if somebody buys from you, that you give them a flyer that says if you buy online next time you'll get 10% off or 20% off. And it's a great way to capture people who come to you as physical customers and keep them and retain them and turn them into online customers as well. So anytime that you're doing a physical event, it's always good to really think about how you can leverage that to get more traffic to your website. And it doesn't have to be massively complicated. It could just be flyers that you're handing out or cards, but definitely don't miss that opportunity, because people talk a lot about how online retail is cannibalized physical retail, which is true to an extent, certainly is true, but at the same time, stores are actually a really great way to raise awareness for your website as well. Okay, so we talked about your brand raising, and then the thing that I'm just going to touch on briefly at the end is paying for traffic. So that is the sort of the third piece of the puzzle. You've got your fundamentals, you've got your brand building exercises, and then you have got, quite simply, paying for your traffic. So you can do social media ads, you can do paid search, which is where people will get sponsored results in Google. You can have banner ads, which will display around the web. You can pay influencers to promote your products, and you can have sponsored content. So I'm not going to go into great detail on these methods because they are very important, and do know that big retailers use paid advertising as one of their core strategies to drive traffic to their website. It is 100% something that they do, and they also use a lot of affiliate links, for example, and affiliate schemes to drive traffic. And it should become a big part of your strategy too. As you grow, as you become a bigger company and you want to attract more customers, you want to have a paid traffic strategy. The reason I'm not making it as such a big piece of today's talk is because if you have not yet mastered the other techniques, then paying for traffic is just, it can very easily take up a lot of money from your business. So it wants to be something that you do once you've really created organic traffic, that you know what appeals to your audience, you know which products work, you know what levers to pull and what buttons to press with your ideal customer, and that will help really inform the paid process. It is not in the same way that these other techniques require studying. Again, I would say if you're going to run Facebook ads, take the time to learn the strategy behind Facebook ads. Don't just boost posts at sort of random or when Facebook tells you that you ought to. Really think about, there are loads of courses, there's loads of information about how to run these correctly, or how to run them, I should say, strategically, so that you are learning from them each time rather than just kind of putting money into it and just hoping it works. The same goes for pay-per-click or paid search in Google. You can also pay agencies to help you run them, but just again, it should just be something that you take on piece by piece. Don't try and do everything all at once, and don't always think as well that just paying for traffic will solve all of your problems, because actually you just want to make sure that you really understood what works in your business and what works for your customer before you start trying to send traffic there. Okay, so that is it from me. So yeah, just again to say that tonight is the night for the webinar that I've been banging on about now for a couple of weeks. I really, really hope I'll see you there. It's going to start at 8:30 p.m. London time. It is going to be jam-packed full of information about what I've seen over the last nearly 20 years in terms of what works for retailers and what doesn't work for them. And I'm going to talk about a 4-step process for growing your business sustainably and sanely. So I really hope that I will see you there. I'm very much looking forward to it. I've been hard at work at my slides. Thank you to everyone who gave their input on Friday, I think it was, when I couldn't decide between the slide layout. So thank you for that. And I really look forward to seeing you later. I hope today's was useful. Drop in the comments. I'd love to know what you've tried for driving traffic and what's been successful. And oh, I'll also drop into the comments the link to the blog post, because as I said, there's a mega blog post that goes along with this topic that you can read at your leisure. So great to talk to you, and catch you later. Bye bye.